Hey everyone, this is Brandon Deshaw from blueskyvaluations.com, and today let's talk about how to do a valuation of, a simple valuation of, a restaurant business. So there's a saying that everybody wants to own a restaurant at some point, and why would that be? Well, I think that it's kind of reminds me of the Casino movie where Nicky Santoro, who's played by the great Joe Pesci, he owns this Italian restaurant, and he's talking about how he always does good in restaurants, and you can see him going from table to table and having fun in the restaurants. And it's fun to imagine hosting your friends and family at your restaurant, and also imagine walking through a busy restaurant that you own and stop by tables of your customers and ask them how things are going and all that. And so it might be interesting to do valuation on a restaurant and look into owning a restaurant, or if you're looking at selling your restaurant, how to get a rule of thumb for what it might be worth. So remember now that valuing a business to sell or valuing a business that you might buy isn't an exact science. It's kind of like how the best way to make a red sauce. There isn't one right way, unless it's your way. Just kidding. But there's multiple ways to value. But here's a simple valuation technique for restaurants. Step one is to determine the owner benefit. You do this by taking the business net from the profit and loss statements. The profit and loss statements, also called P and Ls, also called cash flow statements. And what you should end up with is a net profit. What you do then is you add back any additional income the owner might be taking from the business. Do they take a salary? Are there benefits that the owner is taking? And the reason why we add these back to the net profit is that a new owner might have different ways of using the cash. And so what we want to do is figure out what an owner could possibly take as cash out of the business if they wanted to. Step two, multiply this owner benefit by a factor. So you first determine the net cash flow or owner benefit. We take the business net, we add back the additional income, and then we select and multiply by an appropriate factor depending on the restaurant, depending on its location, depending on how good the management is and how involved is the owner in the day-to-day operations. So you would select an appropriate factor. It might be 1, might be 2, might be 3, might be 4, and then you multiply the owner benefit by the factor. Step 3, what we do is add value for inventory and equipment. Be careful not to overvalue. A lot of times the equipment will be depreciated over a long time. It's 15 years old. But at the same time, somebody is valuing this equipment at almost new prices when really you could go buy a complete restaurant equipment set for really pennies on the dollar if you were to find a restaurant that's gone out of business. And so be careful not to overvalue the inventory and equipment. And then the simple formula overall for valuing a restaurant is the owner benefit times that factor plus the inventory plus the equipment. So that is a brief overview of how to value a restaurant business. If you want to learn more about valuations on businesses, go to blueskyvaluations.com. Download our free ebook that's titled How to Value a Business in 7 Minutes.